Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the First Principles podcast. My name is JC, and I am so excited to be here on this one. This is going to be a little bit more of a riffing one. Not really planned, but I want to share something that I have found really fascinating that I've been changing in my own life, and hopefully, you guys find some sort of value in this because I think it's really valuable. And this whole concept comes from the man himself, Alex Hermosi. And I am not ashamed to admit this. I am a man that is completely in love with this guy. He is one of the greatest mentors that I have been able to see online. And I think that the way in which he thinks is extremely valuable. And one thing that I've gotten from him lately that has changed the way that I think is focusing as much as you can on identifying behaviors. And the thing that we have to realize is that in our life we basically do two different types of behaviors, right? The first one is behaviors that get us closer to the goal that we want, and the second one is behaviors that pushes away from the goal that we want. And really, the only thing that we have to do is increase the behaviors that get us closer and decrease the behaviors that take us far away from them, right? Now, the thing is that most people, and obviously myself included, we sometimes live life not being aware of what actions we're taking. And a lot of people then wake up years later and they're like, oh shit, like where did my life go? Like what happened? Blah, blah, right? And the reason is because they were not aware of what was going on and they were not aware of their behaviors. So this sounds obviously really simple, but I think that it's because it's so simple that people don't actually apply it. But the thing that I have started to focus on in my life, and I've been trying to do this as religiously as I can, is really breaking down what do I do that takes me away? What actually triggers that? Why am I doing it? What am I getting out of it? And how can I change that? Because the thing we have to realize is the reason why we do certain behaviors is because there is something that we're getting out of it. So even though the behavior might be bad, even though it might be drinking or taking drugs or whatever, there's a reason why you're doing that. There's something you're getting out of that, right? So you have to identify, okay, what is it? If there's an element of how I act that I don't like, why am I doing that? And the first thing is to analyze, okay, what am I getting out of it? And then once you know that, you can actually start to develop a strategy of, hey, you know what? I'm noticing that when I get stressed, I gravitate towards food instead of gravitating towards the things or the work that's going to get me out of the situation that I'm in. And now I realize that. And what changed for me was actually writing these things down. What I did was I opened up a notebook and I actually wrote down, hey, this is the behavior that I do. This is why I do it. This is when I do it. This is what I want to change it with. And by you writing these things down, you're able to really identify what's going on. And the thing is that most people do this in a way, but I think that they do it in their head. They think about they do something and they're like, ah shit, I should really change that. Ah shit, like I made that mistake again. Oh man, I said that thing I shouldn't have said. Okay, I'll get better next time, right? But if you don't write it down, if you don't have a game plan to how you're going to get better, you're never going to get better. So that for me is something that really changed my life of understanding, okay, that's true. Everything is behavior. Either the behavior is good or the behavior is bad. And that obviously knocks out a bunch of stuff because that means that you don't have to overthink things. You just have to think, is this thing in line with the vision that I have or is it not? Boom, boom, right? Then write that down. Write down the trigger of why you're feeling that way. What is actually and those triggers obviously they can be in yourself, they can be emotional, they can be in relation to something that you saw, something that you heard. But by writing that down, you're able to identify what's going on. So when that moment happens again, you're able to change that behavior. And now the other thing you have to write down as well is, okay, if I'm gonna change it to this behavior, this new behavior that's good, what am I gonna get out of it, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna do new behaviors if there's nothing that you're gonna get out of it. So You have to be really aware of, okay, I'm changing this behavior. This is the reason why. And then this is my strong why, my strong how, and my why of why I'm doing that new behavior. So that can be, hey, you know what? I want to quit drinking. Why? Because I want to do it for my kids, because I want to do it for my health, because I want to do it for myself. And you have to instill as much power in that why, in that positive outcome that you want. So then when you're in the situation where you see, you know, kind of like the angel and the devil, right? When you see like, hey, you don't do, hey, the behavior that you hate, you're about to do it. How do you turn back? How do you like do the behavior that you actually do want, even though it's harder, because you have a strong why behind it. So that's the key, man. The key is writing down the behaviors that you see that you don't like. Write down why you're doing them, what triggers them, what you're going to do instead, and what is a strong why that's going to push you forward. And if you get that done and you do that time and time again, you're able to clean up your life dramatically. So I hope this helps. Again, these ideas are not mine. This is Alex Hormozi, and for sure, look him up. Watch all his stuff. He's a great guy. And I'll see you guys on the next one.